Is exhaustion and running on fumes kind of a normal companion for you? What if I could help you have some energy without a stimulant, without toxicity, without it being sugar, and it actually would give you some energy? I want you to stay tuned because I'm going to walk you through what's been happening to the exhaustion flooding people's lives. And with that, going to stimulants and why you crave sugar when you're in that state. And then what can you do? And then a story. So first of all, when you're exhausted, that's usually when you also can't sleep. And then when you can't sleep and you're exhausted, you tend to get sick. So it just becomes a looping cycle of just no energy, running on fumes. And when your brain is really tired, you know what it will crave? Sugar. And even if you have great willpower and discipline, you see, your brain uses 25% of your energy. And if you don't have enough, you'll have these sugar cravings and garbage cravings you can't control because your brain is trying to stay alive and do something. It's not always sure what. Well, the problem is so many people go to sugar or stimulants or energy drinks. It's become a massive business that not only impacts adults, it impacts teenagers, it impacts athletes, where they're doing things that have dyes, food dyes. We all know that's no good for us. It's got all kinds of stimulants in there, so you shoot up and then you crash. I was talking to one person, they said, well, it sort of helps my energy, but I just like the taste. It actually had created an addiction to the taste to try and get this. So when you're in that state of no energy, may or may not be craving sugar, but highly likely, the energy drink does not solve your problem. It actually creates a whole nother layer of problems, of stimulants wearing out the adrenals, of toxicity impacting your gut, and it didn't really give you steady energy. Well, I discovered a tool that for me, hands down, it's one of the first things I reach for every morning. Say goodbye to it at night because I don't need energy at night. And it's been a game changer for me. I'll share that story with you in just a little bit, but I want to share the tool that truly is amazing. It's called the Boost Super Patch. So what exactly is a Boost Super Patch? Well, it's a little patch that when you peel off the backing, it's got little ridges, and when you put it on your skin, it sends a message through your nervous system up to that part of your brain that determines your fuel tank of energy. And if it's dysfunctional, running on empty, that little signal turns it on, and you have access to steady energy. That's pretty cool. So how's it do it? What's the ingredients? There are none. There are no ingredients. That means there's no contraindications for any disease, any medication. It's a signal. Think of it as a QR code that when you activate that QR code, it takes you right to a website so you can get the information you want. Think of a blind person using Braille. Their fingers touch the bumps and that information goes to the brain and they can read. See, when we transfer information from our skin, our tactile sensory organ, it goes right through our nervous system to the brain, and when it's a super patch, it'll take a dysfunctional brain pathway and put it in homeostasis instantly. It's been proven with EEG testing, double-blind placebo, 1 in 1,000 chance that it's a placebo. It's just really powerful. Now, I must admit, when I was first introduced to them, I thought it was just hokey. Like, you've got to be kidding me. I'd worked and tested a lot of people on a lot of different kinds of patches and never really saw consistent results. It took time. It was very expensive. And that's kind of what I thought about this. And then after I listened to Dr. Anna Toker, a renowned colorectal surgeon, talk about the importance and how she uses them for her patients before, during, and after surgery. And she explained the brain, the vagus nerve, the gut, neurology, which I understood all that. This is what I've been doing for almost 40 years as a naturopath and wisdom coach, working with tens of thousands of clients from around the world. She spoke my language. She did it from a medical perspective with an alternative understanding and married them together. And she's using this. And I thought, well, if it works for somebody working with colorectal issues, what might it do with the patients and the clients that I was working with? So I decided to play, notice, and discover. And what better person to do it with than me? Now, I've always been sort of a high achiever and pretty high energy in my 40s and 50s, 60s. And now I'm 72. And I recently went through a 5-week marathon of getting ready for the holidays, making unbelievable amounts of caramel corn that all had to be bagged, and decorating the house, and sugar scrubs, and life, and everything else I was doing. Plus we had 3 big events, one each weekend. And when you put together all the food and decorate and go to the nth degree like I do, you might find some of those videos somewhere on YouTube or Facebook. I'm really good at that, and I absolutely love it. And it takes a ton of energy. And what I did every morning, the very first patch I put on, I tend to put it somewhere on this arm so I always know I've got it on. I would put my Boost patch on, and then I would take it off at night and put my REM patch on to sleep all night. And I went through that 5-week marathon with energy. I might be a little bit tired at night, but the next morning I was ready to go. And Forrest said, well, what did you do before the patch? And I said, don't you remember how many days when I was going to have to see clients and I'd come to you and say, would you just pray for me because I have no energy, no capacity to go deal with all those problems. It's just not in me, but I know I have to. So we would pray and gear me up for a day, and I would do my work. I'm good at it. And then at the end of the day, I'd crash. So that's not much of a life. So Boost for me has been absolutely transformative because there is so much in me that I want to do in my 70s and 80s, understanding that we can put brain pathways into balance, that we can help people with their mindset, their beliefs, their experiences to become a whole person. Do you realize how absolutely transformational that is? That stirs my heart, it stirs my passion because it's what I'm on earth to do. I now have a tool, a series of tools, because there's 13 more patches coming out with Super Patch because they're always innovating. I can help people accelerate results because when you put a brain pathway into balance, you accelerate. It doesn't replace supplements and eating well and exercise. All of that's important. But when your brain pathway is out of balance, you usually don't have the energy to do that. You don't have capacity to do that, and you're not interested in doing that. It is not hard to peel a backing off and put this on someplace on your body. No scar tissue. You don't want it where there's nerve damage. You don't want it where there's a bunch of hair. So this is my favorite place for Boost. And it's not going to give you that spike and crash like stimulants and energy drinks. Steady. All day long. Still have a smile on your face. So if you're ready to live life to the fullest and have the energy to do what's on your heart and on your mind to do, to go make a difference in your life and the lives of others, I'd suggest you partner up with Boost and have amazing, amazing energy that doesn't cause you to crash at the end of the day. So get back to the person who introduced you to this video and introduced you to us. And look at the description for more information because having energy is what life is all about.